The lectures because of, well, there's a great line by Dylan, Bob Dylan, great line he has. A lot of things can get in the way when you're trying to do what's right. And that is a fact. Anyway, so I didn't come here in August, and that was my goof up. And then September was family stuff cropped up and I couldn't get away. So, we are going to do Manifestations of Karma Part 1 of many, many parts, because karma is a very significant subject, and it's a subject which is of great importance to everybody to really understand and get to grips with and work with, and there are vast ramifications to karma. So I'm going to just kind of have an overview first, that we need to understand and know that this is the fourth incarnation of the earth. There's been 3 previous incarnations which were all spiritual, and they're going to be 3 more after the earth incarnation of the earth, shall we say, as a cosmic body, so to speak, and the next 3 will all be spiritual. This is the only incarnation of all the 7 in which there's the physical life on the planet. We, as the human beings, are unique among all the spiritual beings of the cosmos in that we are the only ones that pass through our human stage in a physical body. So, because if we don't know that as a basic, that's a fundamental fact of creation, that there are these 7 incarnations of the earth. Now, the reason for that, as far as the past 3 goes, is that the first is called Saturn, and the Saturn stage of earth evolution was created in order to lay down, among many other things, the spiritual germ of the human being's physical body. That was it. As far as humanity goes and this cosmos goes, that was its main task, to do that. Spiritual beings were involved in doing, I can't go into all the detail because that's a topic for another lecture. So I'm just giving you a kind of like an overview, so you get a picture in your mind's eye of what we're talking about here with regard to our own creation, why we are here on this earth at this particular time. And we have been on this earth for many, many incarnations prior to this, and we'll be on the earth for many, many incarnations after this incarnation. We have repeated earth lives for a very good reason, and which will become clear if you attend enough of my karma lectures that I'm going to give over the course of the next few years. Because they're going to be interspersed with other subjects like macrobiotic topics of great importance like facial diagnosis. And next month I'm going to be doing lungs and large intestine. So now we have those 7 incarnations, and which is the Saturn, Sun. This is the beginning of the Sun stage of earth evolution. There's a repetition of the Saturn stage, and then at that point there's an addition where the spiritual germ of the etheric body of the human being is laid down on, and as an addition to the physical germ, and also the animal kingdom come into being, the beginnings of the animal kingdom. And then when we get to the moon incarnation, we get a repetition at a higher level. Everything is evolving. It has no choice but to evolve. Although there's devolution occurs in the course of evolution, the general trend is continued evolution, an ascending path. And we have no choice but to participate in that, fundamentally. Although we actually do. We could actually not want to participate in that. But that's something that is a decision that each individual will have to make at some future time. Right now, we're so in the dark. We're in a period of extreme darkness right now. An endarkening has taken place over the whole earth as far as human culture has gone from the beginning of the 15th century, and we have to work our way out of it, which is, and the way we do that is by gathering together spiritual knowledge and spiritual understanding based on spiritual science of Rudolf Steiner, which is not his own, by the way. He did not invent it. This is knowledge that has been known to humanity ever since the beginning of human development on this earth. But this knowledge was kept secret for many, many centuries, for millennia, until Steiner, who had as like all of us, he'd had many incarnations, some of which were very significant historically. And he said, he was born in 1861, so he said around 1890 or so, it's now time for this knowledge to start to be divulged to as wide an audience as we possibly can. The time for secrecy is over, and he had a fight about it. The brotherhoods, the white brotherhoods, didn't like him doing that because they said we weren't mature enough to be able to take up this information. And of course, the dark brotherhoods didn't want to have anything to do with it, so he created a lot of opposition. But in one of the lecture series I'm just reading right now, he said, well, once the ice had been broken, so obviously there was a, shall we say, a heated discussion taking place in the mystery school. See, there are a lot of mystery centers of which we have no knowledge that are located all over the world, including America. And we have no knowledge of them. Right? They're kept secret and open. And Steiner says the time for that secrecy is over. We got to spread this out. So I'm doing my part in trying to spread this knowledge to as wide as audience as I possibly can, mainly using my YouTube channel and giving these talks, because they are very necessary for people to really grasp what this spiritual scientific knowledge is. And as I said, it's not the invention of Steiner, and it has that in common with macrobiotics, because macrobiotics is not the invention of George Sala either. Not at all. So, in fact, macrobiotics is a gift of the gods, just like spiritual science is a gift of the gods. So, when we get to the moon phase of Earth evolution, we get the addition of the astral body to the physical body, the spiritual germ of the physical body, and the spiritual germ of the etheric body. We get the astral body, that is the soul, the psyche, as we call it today. Psyche means soul. It's the Greek word for soul. And that refers to the astral body, which is the body of the stars. Astral refers to the starry realm. And then the plant kingdom, the beginnings of the plant kingdom were laid down there. And then that disappeared into the cosmic womb and came out of it again. And we had the beginning of Earth evolution, which is the fourth stage. And what we had is a recapitulation of each of the first three stages, which took place in what are called epochs, Earth epochs. The first one is called the Polarian, which recapitulated at a higher level the Saturn stage of Earth evolution. Then we had the Hyperborean, which recapitulated the Sun stage of Earth evolution. And then we had the Lemurian, which recapitulated the Moon stage of Earth evolution. And then we entered into the Atlantis, what was called the Atlantean epoch. And that came to an end and started the fifth post-Atlantean epoch around 12,000 BC. And we are in the fifth post-Atlantean epoch now. And of the fifth post-Atlantean epoch, there are 7 cultures. 7 is a very important number, okay, because there are 7 Earth incarnations. There are 7 epochs within each Earth incarnation. There are 7 cultures within each epoch. Plus, there are 7 colors of the rainbow. There are 7 tones to the musical scale. There are 7 planets. There are 7 days of the week. There are 7 stages of judgment. there are 7 stages of plant growth, like in the I Ching. It says all movement takes place in 6 stages, and the 7th brings return. And by the way, Pink Floyd actually put that particular image from the I Ching to music in one of their early albums. In either Piper, it was either in Piper at the Gates of Dawn or Source of Full of Secrets, I can't remember which one. The great madcap genius Syd Barrett, of course, who I saw them live at that time, in the little dance hall. Can you imagine that? 500 people. And we were dancing to Pink Floyd. 5 shillings a ticket.
How did you dance to Pink Floyd?
Well, they had some good songs,
Yeah.
you know. Of
Not
course,
all
you wouldn't dance to
danceable.
Careful with That Axe, Eugene, or Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun, or Astronomy Domine, but no, they had a few
Quite a
rockers
few
in
rockers, yeah.
there. Right.
Can we choose not to come back to this life?
No, not possible, because a lot of people do not want to come back to this life. That is a fact. Vast majority of people. In fact, Steiner describes how he's doing some spiritual investigations, and he noted that people, when they go to sleep at night, and they're in the astral world between going to sleep and getting up, and they meet Christ. We all meet Christ during our sleep, and they're begging him that they don't want to come back. And he says, no, because he's the Lord of karma. Christ is the Lord of karma. He says, no, you have to fulfill your karma. There's no escaping it. And the fact of the matter is, we can only fulfill our karma on earth, because we can't, once we pass through the gate of death, between death and rebirth, we can't change anything. We can only change it here. And we cannot reincarnate as a pig, or a butterfly, or a mushroom. Cannot be done. Right? We have to reincarnate as human. And the whole purpose of karma, see, the purpose of karma, fundamentally, is to be able to give us the possibility of perfecting ourselves. If there was no karma, we would have no choice but to descend into the abyss. So karma is a gift, fundamentally. And it's tremendous, because, as I said, if there was no karma, we would literally sink into total and utter bestial depravity. We would have no choice.
It's the best gift there is.
Right, it is. It's fantastic. So, now, when we get to the